Welcome to Innovision FM, Innovision TV. I'm sitting downtown and just saw like a very interesting thing. Some guy who's a thief, someone, oh wait, let me see.
This is not this area manier communicate. This he sit down in front of lady, girl, young girl, masturbate, put his hands inside pants, look at her with dirty smiling. I never see such like that. People not have this way. We feel free here.
Okay, I want to tell you a little bit about the incident that we just saw here. So I guess there's a lady here. She's working on a computer, minding her own business, and this Hispanic brother, a guy, whatever. I don't know if I call him a brother. Guy, he sits down across from her with this weird look on his face, and of course, not of course, but he's masturbating while he's looking at this lady. Now I'm thinking this. I'm thinking to myself, why can't you get off your drugs, your alcohol?
He's in drugs, I think. I think he's
and
in drugs.
Get your life straight and stop masturbating to with women who don't know you, don't want to know you, will never want to know you if you're that stupid in the head. And I say that because this is the second time that something like this weird happened. About 8 years ago. Maybe not even 8 years ago. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say like maybe 6 years ago. Before my wife got here, I was talking on Skype, and this guy, he was a rapper, and I heard some of the stuff. He worked with Dreamland. Pretty cool guy, And he said, Johnny, I'm about to catch my Greyhound punch, but I have like a few hours. Can I come over and chill at your house and wait for my bus, and then I'll go down and catch my bus? I said, oh, okay. So he comes in, but he didn't, it's him and this girl, and I thought it was just him, right? And then so he sits on my couch, and I'm on Skype, and then my wife says, do you know the two people behind you, he's masturbating her? And I'm thinking like, what? And I said, hey man, my wife is watching you guys masturbate. I said you could come over and chill, but I didn't know you were gonna use my place as a hotel, right? So people will do some unusual. Oh, sorry, this is Xrated for if you're like under 18. Do not watch this, right? Parental guidance here. Oh, and if you don't know who this is, my name is Johnny J. I am the only blind TV producer here in Colorado, and my show comes on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. So catch it on Channel 56, Comcast, Denver Comcast, Channel 56. Also want to remind you that our radio station is Innovision FM, and you can catch that 24 hours, 7 days a week. And my book, 6 Shades of Blindness, that you can get a pre-order and give us a review on Amazon. Yeah, 6 Shades of Blindness, and we really appreciate that. So I was just thinking about this incident with, once again, with the policeman, the two policemen, police lady and police guy, are being ambushed by this guy. And I thought it was kind of strange that people were streaming as this incident happened, because right now, I mean, for me to get up and going, I had to put my title on here, and then then I had to hit the camera, because for a while you were looking at the streets, and then I had to hit play, and it just seemed like it was just strange. And then this ignorant whatever he was, kept saying that the N-word, said, hey N-word, you want to say N-word, and all the crazy enough. And I'm thinking, like, if a cop has to take a person out for whatever reason, I'm sure, I would hope that he's not saying stupid things like this. and then we as the general population, what is going on with people just saying stupid things like what I heard this young minority in Compton saying. And I used to live in Compton, and yeah, it was a lot of interesting people there. I mean, I guess in Compton you have to wear red because that was the blood territory in Compton, and in Long Beach I guess it was parts of the Crips and things of that sort. But when I heard this guy say, man, what has happened to humanity where, okay, for the 0.5% of bad cops, these guys are going around shooting policemen who may or may not be bad cops, and they're just doing random things to I don't know, show how much of a boy they are, because you can't call them a man, because when you're a child, you think like a child, you act like a child. You might want to read this in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. But when you become a man, you put away all those childhood things, and you think differently. You do things differently. I'm talking to a young person now who's 31, 32. Well, I'm telling them, hey, you know, if you birth these children, be in their life, not just over the phone, but be in their life. Because I had a choice when I had brought kids into the world, and then I divorced their mother. I didn't leave the state of Colorado. Didn't leave, and I had plenty of opportunities to go other places to do radio or do TV and whatever. But I said, no, I want to stay here with my children, so they always have access to me. We can always be together on the weekends, and we can always do stuff. And hopefully that influenced them to be part of me, rather than me like always calling them up on the phone and say, hey, Daddy's here in Des Moines, Iowa, or Daddy's here in LA, but love you, but you know. And I think of that song "Cats in a Cradle," where the kid keeps on saying, "Hey, Dad, can you go out and play ball?" And Dad says, "I'm too busy. I'm working here. I'm doing this." And then the kid says, "When I grow up, I'm going to be just like him." And it turned out not to be a spoiler of the song. And then the dad said, "Hey, son, hey, let's spend some time together." Said, "Hey, Pop, you know, the wife. I just have my wife is this, and my children are sick, but we'll get together soon, Dad. You know, we're gonna get together soon." So, if you're one of those single parents out there and you have your kids, and the daddy or the mother is not making an effort to be in their life, you know, that's on them. You know, so I don't know. I go by what I heard from Patrick Delves, the herbalist. Each one teach one, and maybe Dr. Sebian said that. But each one teach one. And I know, you know, people say, "Oh, you raise your kids. Why do you want to, you know, be honest with people that you don't know?" Well, I figure, like, if I have some information, if I have knowledge, why not share it with people who might not have had that opportunity to have that knowledge put into their head? And we'll get back to the police thing in a second. I once knew this guy that his mother helped him to get into our building. He's about 18, 19 years old, and she would parcel out his money. She would give him enough money to pay his rent and do some other thing, and then he just stopped paying his rent because he figured, well, why should I spend money paying my rent when I can have fun with the money? And so he did that, and then 6 months later, and they gave him a long time, and they said they evicted him. So he knocked on my door and said, "Hey, Johnny, do you know of another place that I can get rent for, $60? And I said, "Hey, this is it. That's it. So you messed up this, so that's a mark on your record now you may never be able to get into a place like that. You may have to go and live with mama who didn't teach you. Mama who didn't teach you that when you live in a place, you got to either pay rent or you got to invest in a house, or you have to do something to have somewhere to hang your clothes. Not like Mayor B. Hancock, people down here downtown. There's an army of homeless people down here, and just like Hickenlooper in 2006, and he's going to end homelessness. And then they pocket that $14 million in their pocket, and now Mayor B. Hancock says now he wants to pocket $41 million in his friend's pocket, because soon he won't be the mayor, so he has to go into his next gig. But before he goes into his next gig, he tells all of us, hey, bend over, and without Vaseline, I'm going to give it to you 41 million times. Hickenlooper already did give it to us 14 million ways. Now we got another bandito, Michael B. Hancock, who wants to do the same thing to us and say with a smiling face, remember, Black Lives Matter. What a bunch of crock. But anyway, getting back to this, I truly think that it was like a gang initiation, because when I was living out in LA, when I was 21 and 20, 21, 22, 23, I heard of a lot of gang initiations. Like, I saw them get into a field and they would beat up a guy to see how tough he was, and to get into the gang, they would beat up the one guy, and if you could handle that, then you'd be a part of the gang. So I saw a lot of stuff, and then it was kind of weird. We would have shootings in schools and stuff like that. You never heard about psychologists and people like that to come in and talk to the kids about what had happened. And it's like, hey, who cares? Now, and as we evolve, not only in the rich schools, but in the poor schools as well, I guess they have psychologists and stuff like that. And wait, hold on a second. What is wow in Italian?
This guy look at the mirror, put mirror very close to his face, and kiss the mirror.
Oh, some guy is in love with himself, so he looked in the mirror and he's French kissing himself in the mirror. So there's a lot of interesting people down here in downtown Denver, and young, people who are not filmmakers or who are not, I guess, equipped. Leave this downtown experience to professionals like myself and other filmmakers, right? Okay. Anyway, just joking. Let's see. I was talking about Los Angeles, living there when I was in my 20s. So I saw a lot of different gang activities. One time I was sitting in a bus stop, and this one guy ran out the bus, and then 20 guys ran after this guy. And then he circled back around, jumped in the bus, told the bus guy, go, go, go. And as the bus guy closed the door, one of the gang members pulled off his belt and started whipping the bus. And I'm thinking like, wow, whipping the bus. And then he sat down, and he was talking to this other OG about all the brothers, that had died. These are Hispanic guys, OGs, and he was talking about who had died and who was no longer around and all that kind of stuff. And I said, wow, that guy got away this time, but he probably lives in the same neighborhood, and eventually, they're going to catch up with them, and the lead gang member is going to be able to take off his belt and whip him. But yeah, I do think this police thing was a gang initiation. Unfortunately, the good cops have to pay for the bad cops. The good cops have to pay for the bad cops. Yeah. And like I was saying about the school, the psychologists in the school, I think with the police reform, I think a long time ago they should have had it where police got psychological testing once a year. Because this lifestyle, if you're seeing a lot of bad people, you see good people and you see a lot of bad people, that could become a strain on anybody's head, right? And so for them not to have psychological testing every year, and if they're burnt out, put them behind the desk, put them on doing something else, so they can, so they don't, be out in the street and then get into an incident where they go overboard and then the city gets sued because the cop threw this person down on the ground too hard, or he put out his aggressions of his frustrations from his marriage or whatever is going on in his personal life. He transferred that to his job. So I want to give a shout out to Daniel McKinnon and the people that will be watching, the people that are watching now. So anyway, so that's all I wanted to do for this little bit, and we'll probably piece the show together and probably show some scenes from Moscow. Oh, my friend, one of our board members, our president of Combo, we were having a little email discussion, and I was telling him how people in Fresh Air wasn't wearing the mask, and she said, "Oh, America, we're exactly the same way." And as we were walking this morning around 7:30, we saw people walking in the fresh air with their masks. So I'm not sure, my friend, the president, my friend Barb Dye, maybe we're not hanging out in the same circles. So maybe in the circles that she hangs out, people are doing what they do without the mask in the fresh air. But this decree that Polis has put is unconstitutional. It's just a stroke of his pen. And for him to say that this is the law when the legislature hasn't voted on it, and it's just him as the king of Colorado saying these decrees. Randy Corbin, he's pushing back on it. The Vanderbilt family, they're pushing back on it. Other restaurants. And I just encourage you restaurants that have been shut down, you people that have been shut down and your business have been destroyed by these democratic dictations and overreach. Remember, elections have consequences. So the next time these guys come up to be voted on, look into their background very carefully. And remember, most, if not all, politicians lie. They're very good at lying. And so look at their record. If they've been in the political game for a while, look at their record. We got a lot of video, like when Polis was crying about this, one reporter saying that he's acting like a Nazi, and then it comes out in 2010 that the governor of Arizona, he called her a Nazi. Well, he wasn't crying back then, so why is he crying, 10 years later, right? So we have to really research these people before we put them in office, because it seems like Emperor Polis is drunk over power. And now he's going to have the Broncos on the 27th of this month come in and play the game, and a little under 6,000 people will get to be there, but you can't go to church, which has less people than that. You can't go to movie theaters, which has less people than that. You can't sit on the inside of restaurants that have less than that. It's some arbitrary time at 10 o'clock that you have to stop serving alcohol because the virus is more harsher after 10 o'clock. So all these decrees that Emperor Polis is putting across, you got to use your analytical thoughts. I know they don't teach that anymore in school. I know they just want to teach you how to be puppets and be sheep. But somebody has to break out and think for yourself. And maybe I'm speaking to the choir, and maybe I'm speaking to some people who are not the choir. But leave your comments below. If it's on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, we have our book, 6 Shades of Blindness, on Amazon. You can do a pre-order. It's going to come out December the 7th. And we have our concert that is tentatively, it's going to be a virtual concert because some of our members are afraid to be around audience. So we're going to do a virtual one and see how that works out. So go to our website, Intervision FM, get your tickets there for our virtual concert as well. So anyway, so we're going to let you see the 16th Street Mall one more time. There we go. You can see the 16th Street Mall. Okay. So you get to see what's happening.
Don't make a video of me, please.
No, I'm not. I'm over here watching a video. All right. All right, we're gonna close this down for now. We're watching Intervision TV, Intervision FM with John and Jay in the house, and God bless you. And leave your comments below, and share this. Give us a like, and listen to our station. And hey, get our book as well. We're gonna finish, and see you the next time.